This is ABC Fora.
Is the price of energy. The thing that's underwritten 200 years of very rapid economic growth has been the availability of cheap fossil fuel. In essence, the availability of a kind of, endless set of slaves for all of us to do immense quantities of work and more all the time. We're not going to replace fossil fuel one for one with something that works exactly the same way. We've had our magic fuel, coal and gas and oil were great stuff, easy to get at, rich in BTUs, you could transport them around. The logic of the things that replace them, the sun, the wind, whatever, is somewhat different. I think that these things will work. My house runs on the sun. But I also understand that they're more diffuse and spread out. And I think the logic of them is less a logic of globalization and more a logic of localization that we will begin to see over the next 50 years. Indeed, we're already seeing it. A shortening of supply lines, a return to somewhat more localized economies. In America, the fastest growing part of the food economy is local farmers markets. Sales have been growing 10 or 15% a year. And one of the things that's important about that is not only that they're more ecologically sound, but that they imagine the kind of different worldview that I think you may be getting at. One way to think about the effects of fossil fuel is not only has it made us rich and not only has it destroyed our climate, it's also made us the first members of our species to have no practical need of our neighbors for anything, okay? To be able to be hyper-individualist in a way that no other human could have imagined, and that turns out to be deeply psychologically unhealthy. The average American is, the number of Americans who say that they're very happy with their lives, the percentage, peaked in 1956 and has gone steadily downhill since. Barely a quarter of Americans will make that claim, even though their material standard of living has trebled over that period. And the reason is that in the pursuit of the American dream, which was easy to define, bigger houses farther apart from each other, okay, we lost contact with each other. The average American has half as many close friends as the average American of 50 years ago. Eats meals with friends and family half as often. I read on the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald today that only 6% of Australian barbecues involve anybody from outside the family, that it's, the same phenomenon at work. Well, at the farmer's market, a pair of sociologists last year followed shoppers, first around the supermarket, then around the farmer's market. I assume supermarkets work the same way in Australia that they do in the States. You enter, you fall into a light fluorescent trance, you visit the stations of the cross around the market, you emerge with the same basket of items as you had the week before. When they followed people around the farmer's market, they found that they were having, on average, 10 times more conversations per visit. They were beginning to make that community work again, to reweave some of that lost web. And that, I think, is going to be very important. Among other things, strong communities will be necessary to help deal with that which we cannot ward off in the years ahead, because we're not going to stop global warming. If we do everything right, we will slow it down. But there are many effects coming that'll make life more difficult than the life of incredible stability that we have enjoyed. And hence, we will need those communities for many things. So I think the world will change in the years ahead in profoundly interesting ways.
This is ABC Fora.